astonishing.
And 1089 and 1053 AM talkSPORT.
Hello?
talkSPORT.
The radio station which could drink any other radio station under the table.
Hi, gentlemen.
As long as the other radio station is paying.
Armed and ready. The people are listening to talkSPORT
Across the UK on 1089 and 1053 AM and the easy-to-operate phenomenon that is DAB digital radio.
Electric.
talkSPORT.
As you know, the Lib Dems are having a conference. Lib Dem leader Menzies Campbell welcomed back Charles Kennedy the other day and denied he was not facing his own high noon. Should mean Campbell be worried about the return of Charles Kennedy? Yeah, why not? I mean, we can talk about other stuff, you know, we're intelligent people. 08704 20 20 20. Hello, Stuart, welcome.
Good morning, Michael. Pleasure to speak to a lovely broadcasting companion.
Oh, lovely man. So, I looked at
I'm a lovely broadcasting companion as well.
I looked at the screen, I thought, I know this is going to be trouble, because you've written up there, car revving.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
What do we know, dear? What type of comment is that? Are your favourite caller?
Yes, so tell me, what did you think? You talked about James making the point about revving an engine in anger.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that the police can waste resources and throw somebody in jail for revving...
It was for 2 days, wasn't it? Was it?
2 days.
Just for revving an engine in anger.
Exactly. If they spent more time trying to catch burglars, muggers, maybe we'd have a better society to live in.
Yeah.
Instead of going round...
Yeah.
To say somebody's revving their car racially...
Yes.
...is absolutely stupid.
Well, I couldn't see his car, so I couldn't tell you what colour it was.
It was a black Lotus, I believe it was.
A Lotus?
Yes.
Who, James?
No, the guy who revved... who got
I
sent
see.
to jail.
Okay.
James, I've never been in James's car, so...
Yeah. I don't know what it was. It's somebody earlier on said it must have been a 2-litre Discovery, but I don't know. Don't think so.
Well, why doesn't John give him a ring and ask him his car? Well, you don't see him going out. You've never seen his car in the car park? Or John hasn't?
No, I don't bring a car here.
Well, where'd you go, from Suffolk or Waterloo?
Generally from Waterloo. It's not really worth it. I mean, you just get off the train, even if it's raining, umbrella up, 2 minutes you're here.
That's true. Suffolk, Waterloo, nice and easy.
Yes.
As you probably views a station, it's probably the easiest radio station you've had, isn't it? No, apart from one briefly near the old Thames TV building.
I'll tell you what I was going to ask you. There was confusion today for millions of parents over the bolster seats, booster seats, for cars so that kids have the right size seat. And I just wondered, I was a bit confused because a friend of mine has got 2 boys.
You have different seats depending on the height of the child, I believe it is.
And the weight.
Yes. So you're going to measure your child's height and take their weight before you, and I believe it's up to 10 years old. You have to have a special car seat for them.
Yeah, well, if they're in future all children under the age of 12, and anyone shorter than 4'5", 135 centimetres, must sit in the booster seat or on a cushion when travelling by a car. But a tall 9-year-old who's 4'5" can be strapped to an adult belt. It's not confusing, is it?
No, it's not confusing. It's just another complete mess-up by this legislation-crazy government. And talk about legislation crazy. Your friend Min Campbell, who you just mentioned,
yes,
his conference has called for legalisation of all drugs.
We've got an insight from the Lib Dem spokesperson relating to higher education a bit later on, and we're going to play that.
You can ask him whether whoever proposed that idea of legalising all drugs has been doing the Kennedy.
Do you think it was?
Well, if a party has got any idea, nobody in their right mind and sober would actually propose an idea like that. It's more like the old days of the Lib Dems, when they were the laughing stock rather than somebody trying to Rather than a party with 50 seats.
There's quite a bit of buzz at the moment saying, this is not going to be good for Ming Campbell. He's not going to come out of this conference well. I don't know if you've been watching any on television or listening to it on the news carefully. I've not been paying too much on the news because I've been putting this program together. But it's interesting that people say it does have the smell of death on it.
Ming Campbell has still not managed to convince people that he was not the hatchet man behind the leaks about Kennedy and wasn't responsible. Plus, he's got all the problems of being a hell of a lot older than anybody. Even Gordon Brown's younger than him.
Welcome to being damned by faint praise.
Exactly.
Thanks, Stuart. Thank you. talkSPORT on 10:53, 10:89 a.m. It's a pleasure to have your call on 08704 20 20 20, 08704 20 20 20, or an email to talksport.net. Basil's in Basingstoke. Hello, Basil. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Basil. Welcome.
All right, mate. How you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Aye.
Good.
It's the issue I'd like to talk about. That's the current issue for everybody today. The issue of the Pope.
Yes.
What the Pope has said is quite controversial. The thing is with the Muslim, to say someone is evil is quite provocative, and it shouldn't be brushed under the carpet. The Pope has said that everything that Muhammad brought with him is evil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't think that has been lost on people. I'm sure people that are speaking from an Islamic perspective would say this surely cannot be a casual remark.
But do you think this was deliberate, or do you just think this is a foolish error? Do you think this was a preordained attack, for want of a better phrase, on the Muslims from the Pope? In
the interest, and when I say this, gee, I want you to listen, in the interest of a quiet life, I'd say, oh, it was just a mistake. But if I would put my hand on my heart, I'd say, this wasn't a casual note. This must have been said with
so this is all part of a crusade, then, perhaps?
I don't know.
A crusade against Muslims.
This Pope was on record as saying that Turkey wouldn't fit into Europe. Because Turkey, as you know, is an Islamic country. And he was concerned that it wouldn't fit into Europe. So I wonder what everyone's agenda is here at the moment. I don't think it's what we're looking at. There is more to it.
The Pope's agenda is clear for all to see. He's a Freemason. You just have to look at the Vatican. He's got the Tower of Babel sit to the front porch.
We've gone into an area that I couldn't do questions on.
But it's okay, you can let me go on it and further explain a bit more if you like, because the Pope is overtly Freemasonic, just like the American system is overtly Freemasonic. And how can you have a system if it's a one God that is supposed to be believed by the Roman Catholic Church? How can it be have any partners with the one-eyed beast?
That's probably where I'm missing it. Thank you very much, Basil. Thank you. Fraser's in Brighton. Hello, Fraser.
How you doing?
Yeah, all right, actually. It's been a very busy night tonight. Feelings have run very high, and I don't know whether we've got the right end of the stick in our hand, but I'll be interested to hear what you think.
I'm not going to speak about the Pope or anything like that. I just want to challenge this kind of notion. You had a caller earlier, a lady who was talking about this, this generally held belief by the sort of older generation in Britain that, young kids today seem to have had no childhood, and that they're all squandering their lives away by doing things like such evils as playing computer games and, eating ready meals and things like that. I think I'd like to counter that and say, I don't think that's the case at all. I just think that we're in a technological age now that the older generations pretty much failed to embrace. You know, if kids spend a lot of time on the internet and or you know working computers or downloading things, like, you know, kids know how to work BitTorrents and things like that, and you know, like my mum and dad, for example, who are people in their, you know, their 50s, they just don't have a clue about it. And I just think it's, you know, if people talk about, you know, families used to play things like board games, Monopoly together and stuff like that, there's no reason why families can't play video games and things together, why families can't do things on computers together. It's just that the older generation isn't interested or isn't adaptable to it.
I suspect there's more truth in that than we're prepared to accept, actually.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, you know, there seems to be I make video games for a living. That's what I do.
You do what?
I make video games for a living.
Do you?
Yep.
Cool.
And there seems to be this sort of prevailing opinion among the older generation that video games are only. I mean, I'm using video games as an example. This isn't the only example of, you know, the way the youth go about things nowadays. But you know, there's plenty of good educational sort of lifestyle kind of games that people can get involved in. Young people go to the gym nowadays as well. You know, and people talk about, you know, that your caller earlier mentioned things like, you know, kids used to make their own entertainment and stuff, like kids are as active and as fit nowadays. You know, like I say, young people go to the gym. Young people are concerned with what they eat. Kids at school go and get, particularly girls and things like that, eat salads, eat healthy food at lunch and things like that. It's not entirely hopeless. I think there's a lot of people are blinded by their prejudice, basically.
It can come drifting out, you know, but who knows, you know, whether the trigger is worth the candle. But you were talking about playing with children and making video games.
Yeah.
It's interesting to meet someone who makes video games, because you get a lot of bad press, don't you? Undeservedly.
Yeah, we do indeed.
Everyone's got an opinion. Especially people who can't play them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as you know, there's a lot of violent games about and stuff like that, and that's absolutely intentional. The people that make them know what they're doing. It's very well marketed, and it's marketed to make money the same way as, and it's no different than the sort of trend in the 90s for, you know, particularly violent films making money, which, you know, I mean, people were quite happy to show their kids RoboCop and Terminator 2 and stuff like that, so, you know, it's not really any different.
No, it's not, actually. It's not so off the mark. I have to declare an interest here, not necessarily in RoboCop, but there's a couple of video car games, you know, that I did the voice track on, so guilty as charged. Okay. talkSPORT on 10:53, 10:89 AM. It's 08704 20 20 20, 08704 20 20 20, or you can send me an email to talksport.net. We're talking about the news of the day, and somebody the other day was talking about Tony Blair leaving, and there have been pictures of Tony Blair's face with a big worried W on it today. They have. But there was quite a sneaky little backroom murmur the other day that he might be holding all back for another term, a fourth election win. So Blair's been tremendously lucky. Could it all turn around for him? There is a strain of belief supporting this rumour. Could Blair turn it around? 08704 20 20 20. Peter's in Edinburgh. Hello, Peter. Welcome.
Hello there.
Hi.
You were speaking about the Liberal Democrats.
The Lib Dems, yeah, and apparently not looking quite as tight for them, because Simon Hughes yesterday was claiming that he wasn't going to support Ming Campbell's 50% extra on the top rate.
Yeah.
And unless they all sing together, then they're hardly big enough to display...
Well, I think they're going down the puddle. I mean, you know, to be quite... I think Ming's a total disaster area. I'm somebody that votes Liberal Democrat on occasion. And I just don't see the point, quite honestly. That fellow that they had before, who was an alcoholic.
Well, he came back to the party yesterday afternoon, I believe.
Well, he did a far better job than the one they've got at the moment. So, I mean, if that's, I don't think the fact he was an alcoholic, that's just obviously something that was picked on to, for whatever reason, get him out of the picture. But, I mean, under him, at least, the party seemed to be going somewhere. This guy they've got at the moment, you never hear from him. And, it's just a question, they're talking about the Liberal Democrats being a protest vote. Well, I mean, I don't think they've even got a future as that, because, I mean, they don't strike me as protesting about anything either. I mean, they just seem to be totally grey.
Well, in about half an hour or so, I'll play you that interview we had. And if you're by the radio, you might find it interesting, because it will probably throw wood on the fire of your view. Thanks very much. talkSPORT, 1053, 1089 AM. You can call on 08704 20 20 20. One of the, let's not get excited, it can't be too demanding things in the world, is putting bolster seats, booster seats, in the car so that the young kids can all travel along. And then do bear in mind that if you own the car, it's £500 fine if you don't have the correct seat in place. And if perhaps you've got a child and they want to go out with a friend of theirs, and there's you and your partner in the front, so this is just a 4-seater car, not extreme, you realise if you've got the wrong booster seat on, they're going to fine you for it. Does anyone think that we're a bit unprepared for this? There should have been programmes on all channels we could have the chance to watch. Hello, Julian, live from Hollybourne.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
The whole booster seat thing to me is just a no-brainer. Apparently, when children are in a car crash and there's an impact, they sink down in the seats, and basically the shoulder strap goes through the neck and opens up all sorts of bits that we don't want to open up, and it doesn't work properly. Therefore, I think, and I'm not a fan of the nanny state, but it is a must that we all should be doing this.
Yes, I can see that it should work, but if you've got kids in the car and you're going down to Halfords or wherever...
I'm not a Halford shareholder, by the way.
No, well, it's okay, or Argos, I don't mind. And you're going to get it all bolted in. The truth of the issue is you don't really get that much time to ponder it if you've got children, so ideally you want to go out and get the bits and pieces and then come back and do it. But then, having said that, when you come back after having acquired the bits and pieces, you might have the wrong pieces, because not everyone you're going to carry in that car, which is your friend's child together with your child, are going to match. So that's I suspect, the major stumbling block, irrespective of whoever you buy your shares from when it comes to bolting bits and pieces. Anyway, this is talkSPORT. Thank you very much. Thanks, Julian. If you'd like to be part of the programme, my number's 08704 20 20 20, or you can text me with a 50 pence handling charge on top of your usual fees to 81089, or email talksport.net. We're talking about the hard-to-read messages coming out about bolster seats, booster seats for cars, and bearing in mind that certain children will be vulnerable to your interpretation of the equipment.
10:53 AM.
The most deeply held principles
Around the world.
Not kneeling on our knees.
Around the clock.
It was never meant to be negotiated.
From the Sky News Centre. talkSPORT on the Hour News.
The top stories from the Sky News Centre at 2.
On 1089 and 10:53 AM. talkSPORT.
Get it wrong with a booster seat and the cops can charge you £30 on the spine fines. Yes, but want to do that, wouldn't you? I'll tell you more about it later on, but that's something we're talking about. Which is something that's been described as a definitive guide, and when you hear that you think, hang on a minute, there's still room for improvement. Police patrols have been increased around hundreds of churches and mosques because of fears that the Pope's comments about Islam could provoke violence. That, and the school that refuses to compromise with junk food mums. They bring their kids junk food at lunchtime and feed it through the fence, and the kids take it, and the school said, that's it, no more. Cease. 08704 20 20 20. Cornell is in Birmingham. Hello, Cornell.
Hello, Mike.
Hi.
I'd like to talk about the Muslim issue.
Mm-hmm.
The thing what's on my mind is everyone's talking about the Bible and the Quran, when what it really boils down to is morals, like an understanding of different cultures. I mean, in this country, I mean, you've got certain culture clashes, and you've got, like, Muslims integrating into white communities. And I feel that it's not working. You know, it's like, I feel like it was a mistake in the beginning.
So what's the answer?
And this is going to cause more conflict.
Yeah, so what's the answer?
Well, the answer is, I think they shouldn't integrate. I think they should stay in their own communities and keep their own opinions to themselves.
Yeah, but these people have arrived here. A lot of these people are born here.
Yes, they are, yeah. But, see, when somebody has a child, the child could take after their grandparents or their ancestors, and they could follow extremism. I mean, they could follow something that is negative to the parents, because most children obviously rebel against their parents, so they're going to rebel.
But that doesn't give us an answer. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm not playing hard to get mentally, but it doesn't give us an answer, does it? I mean, you can't. What are you going to say to these people? They've got to put themselves in some sort of ghetto?
No, I'm not talking about a ghetto. I'm talking about there should be some kind of solution. I don't know the answer myself, but you know, there has to be a solution somewhere. I mean, the government. I mean, they have to come up with a solution in the future. I mean.
Okay. Thanks, Cornell. Good to talk to you. Barry is in Birkenhead. Hello, Barry. Hello, Barry.
Hello?
Hello, Barry.
Hello?
Hello, Barry.
How you doing there, mate?
Good.
Yeah, the issue I'd like to talk about the Pope.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Coming from a Muslim perspective, if I may, yeah.
What, your perspective?
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing was obviously highly provocative.
Yes, I think so. And the subsequent one was also quite provocative.
But the thing is, it's the response when you come on the radio tonight and you were saying that the Muslims, you know, if you stand in a cat's tail and it has a reaction, doesn't it? So
well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No. But I'm saying that you were saying to the equivalent, you know, pressing a button, so that people know that by giving a stimulus to a people, you'll produce a reaction.
Oh yeah, when I said button pushing, yeah.
Well, because there was an article in one of the right-wing newspapers that a few years ago that produced a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now.
This isn't related, is it, to what happened in the Danish magazine?
No. This was quite a few years ago. Say about 3-4 years ago. But a Fleet Street newspaper, if it could be called that, produced a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And for everyone who knows anything about Islam or about the thing with idol worship, this was a thing that is frowned upon in Islam because.
Yes, in Islamic art, you cannot show humanity cavorting about.
Because the thing with the Christians, Islam was that came after Christianity was to rectify the faults. Because Jesus, he came with a good message, and the Muslims, as you've heard many times, have said that they honour and venerate Jesus.
Yeah, but I think I understand what you're saying, but I think it's gone slightly shaky monkey when you've got guys sitting outside of a church or sitting in front of the cameras holding things up saying, you know, Allah rules Jesus. And it's confrontational, and that's what I meant when I said button pushing. This is pushing the button. This isn't coexistence. This is imposition.
No, but what I'm trying to outline is the fact that Muslims don't have idols because the Christian faith went down the road of having veneration of saints and statues and all these idol worships. There is only one God, and anyone can speak to him if they wish. They don't have to go through a statue or a saint or anything at all. And the problem with the paper who put the picture of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the problem with that is it's deliberately provocative. It's deliberately incensing a reaction from a group of people. Now, it might be okay, and people might think, well, surely you should be strong in faith. But if you ally that to the fact that where Mr. Blair and Mr. Bush choose to go about calling freedom and democracy, i.e. Afghanistan, Iraq, a look at Chechnya and Kashmir, to the oppression of Muslim countries. If you look what's happening in Nigeria just now, where there's fundamentalist Christians slaughtering many Muslims in Nigeria just now, and that is a battle that doesn't get talked about too much. But I
don't know. I think it does, and I think one thing we should address is if the situation were reversed, would you be having Christian broadcasts in Islamic countries?
No, this is another issue for people.
I know it's another issue. I know it's not the same.
But this is another issue that is dragged up all the time. Like one of your callers earlier on, he was saying about how you can't put a church or a synagogue in these Muslim countries. Now, the rulers in these countries are anything but Muslims. When you've got rich Saudi sheikhs who benefit greatly from the largesse of the West, where they drive about in motors, blacked-out limousines, with all the prostitutes on board when they go to casinos.
I think he might just have taken it. No. Yes. I know how much it costs to make statements like that. Thank you very much. Tom is in Carlisle. Hello, Tom. Yes, Tom.
These statements made by the people from the Western countries, the governments in Saudi Arabia and Egypt are dictators. They're backed by us in the West. And the problem is, unless you see things clearly, unless you have the sense of hypocrisy, the hypocrisy with the West when it calls for elections in the Middle East, and yet it backs dictators who oppress people in Saudi Arabia, Egypt and Pakistan. Surely the real terrorist is Bush and Blair.
Well, is that absolutely right? Is that absolutely right? People, it just seems, Tom, that you're unable to accept the fact that there are accommodations and acclimatizations. There are situations where it is politically correct to adopt a certain path. And you're saying to me that with such a sophisticated society as Islam is, you're unable to see those accommodations? I don't think so. I think you must think I'm deliberately stupid. Jonathan is in Dudley. Hello, Jonathan. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Quick point, really. When I was at school, I used to come home for school lunches, and my parents were fortunate to have a cafe and restaurant, and I used to have steak, kidney pie and chips most days. And I'm fine now. I'm not overweight, fairly fit.
How much do you weigh?
I weigh 13 stone. I'm 6'2".
Oh, that's not too bad. If you're 16 stone, if you'd been 16 stone, you'd have been considered obese, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but if I was 7 foot tall, I would have been okay.
Yeah.
But,
thank goodness you're not.
What I was going to say was that the food at the schools, they do have a battle on their hands with the costs that they have to provide the food. But what they do dish out is fairly appalling to some degree because of the actual content and also the amount of it. It is very, very small portions. We always used to look forward to school dinners at Christmas time when we used to go up and have the turkey dinners, and we always used to pretend that we were getting the dinners for the teachers so that we could have extra portions.
Sounds he didn't do you too much harm. Good to talk to you. Gary is in Portsmouth. Hello, Gary. You're on.
Hi, Dad.
I'm good.
I just want, I have to say, I've been very encouraged by all the comments about the Pope tonight. I think it's a sign of the world waking up a little bit. I've done some research.
Well, they've not all been pro the Pope, you know. I don't know if you know that.
I know that. No, I'm not saying that at all. Far from it, actually. Because I've done a lot of research into this man, Joseph Ratzinger, and in his former days, before he became the Pope, he was, you know, as a cardinal, he was a member of the Club of Rome, and I have a list of the membership of that organisation. They were, part of their policies is the depopulation, a reduction of the world's population down to 1 billion, and they are encouraging war.
I haven't read that. I've read other things about Cardinal Ratzenberger, and none of them made my heart beat fast, but none of them, by the same token, suggested the man is stupid.
No, he's certainly not stupid at all. He knows exactly what he's doing.
And I think that's something we should bear in mind. Thanks very much indeed. If you'd like to be part of the programme, it's 08704 20 20 20, 08704 20 20 20, or you can text 81089 with a 50p handling charge in addition to our usual service, or you can send an email to talksport.net. Shall we have a little pause? We can have a little refreshing pause. We won't. Okay. Have we finished with Barry, or shall we talk to John in London? Hello, John.
Oh, good morning.
Hiya.
I thank you for inviting me to your program. I listen to your program all the time, and I find it very interesting.
Thank you, John.
Right? Okay, before I go, before I say anything more, I'm a Catholic. I was born a Catholic. I was baptized a Catholic. I haven't practiced my faith for the past 20 years.
Haven't you?
No. The reason why is a big rip-off.
The big rip-off? Right, okay.
Now, if you've been to Rome, I've been to Rome, I've seen how rich the Catholic Church is. And I've seen all over the world where Catholics pass with the last penny